Okay. I think the video should be recording now, maybe. We'll see. I'm gonna start by writing on this little sticky note, and you can maybe put it at the top of your paper or something. This morning I wrote it on the board, but since I'm recording, I want to make sure I have it on this video. So, things that we know. We are moving away from triangles, but to kind of link what we did last chapter to this chapter, things that we know is that a triangle, if I add up all of the angles, it makes 180 degrees. Okay, now, this is a triangle. Triangle. I'm going to write that on here for you, even though you don't need it. But let's say I have a hexagon. Okay, let's say I have a hexagon, and I want to know if I add up all of those angles, how many degrees that will be. Okay, more than 180, right? More than 180. Okay, so we have to figure out what we can do to figure out how many degrees all of those are. It's going to be more than 180, right? Okay, so how can I use the knowledge that I have that one triangle is 180 degrees to then figure out what a hexagon is? Make it into triangles. So this hexagon, I'm going to take and I'm going to section him off. Like here's a triangle, here's a triangle, here's a triangle, here's a triangle. Do you see how I did that? I could have drawn those lines differently, right? But I just sectioned him off into different triangles. How many triangles are there? Okay, so a hexagon or a six-sided figure has 4 triangles. And every one of those triangles has how many degrees? 180. So how do I figure out how many degrees total that is? Multiply it by 4. So I would take 4 times 180, which is 720 degrees. Yeah. So inside of that hexagon, if I would add up all of the angles, it would be 720 degrees. Yeah? Okay, now let's figure out what the pattern is. Let's say I have a 5-sided figure. Okay, like this little pentagon here. This is a pentagon. 540. Okay, this is a pentagon. If I draw triangles from him, let's say I split my triangles this way. Okay, how many triangles does he make? 3, and I would take 3 times 180, okay? And that is, Caleb just said it, 540 degrees. So all of these angles right here of that pentagon would add up to be 540 degrees, yeah? Now, what's the rule? A 5-sided figure had how many triangles? 3. A 6-sided figure had 4. So what's the rule? What's the rule? You're multiplying by 180 every time. Yeah. But how many triangles are there for each sided figure? Like, what's the rule? 2 less, right? 3 is 2 less than a pentagon. So I subtracted 2. If I have a 6-sided figure, 4 is 2 less than that, right? Here's your formula. So when you're doing that, the formula is you're going to take, right here, n minus 2 times 180, right? N minus 2 will give you the number of triangles that you have. Multiply that by 180 because there's 180 in one triangle. And then you're good to go, right? Does that make sense? Okay? That's easy. That's pretty easy. That's where the formula comes from. So a triangle is 180. This quadrilateral is split into 2 triangles. A pentagon, which is 5-sided figure, is split into 3 triangles. This guy's split into 4 triangles. We can figure out how many degrees each one of them is by subtracting 2, right? And multiply by 180. Okay, so example 1. Find the sum of the measures of an interior angles. Circle the word interior because that's going to become important here shortly. They're going to have us do exterior. They're going to have us do exterior on the backside. So circle interior or exterior whenever it says that because there is a difference between the two. Okay, so interior angles of a convex heptagon. What's that mean? What's heptagon mean? 7. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh. So these angles right here are going to make up, I need to figure out how many degrees those angles are. By the way, the more sides that you have, the more it looks like a circle, right? Like that 7-sided figure, it's hard for me to even make it look like it's got flat sides because it looks really circular, okay? You will have, like, on your homework assignment, like a 40-sided figure. You know what a 40-sided figure looks like? Basically a circle, like really tiny. It's really hard to draw because it just looks like a circle. Okay? So we have a 7-sided figure, and I want to know if I add all of those angles together, what it will make. So how do you do this?
5 times 180.
If I would make triangles out of that, how many triangles would there be?
5 times 180.
5. So I do n minus 2 times 180,
What? You have to do that though?
which is going to be 5 times 180, which is going to be what? 900. Is that right?
Sure.
Somebody do it in your calculator and check me.
Use
5
your
times 180.
calculator as little as possible. Do it in your head.
Okay, well, let's do it in our head. 5
I was being. It's 900.
5
I'm
times
not doing this.
5 times
I
100 is
refuse to
500.
listen.
5 times 80 is 400.
It was actually
Right?
a joke. You
100,
don't have to take
500
everything
plus
so
180.
literally.
Okay, 900. There you go.
You being alone.
Okay. So 900. There you go. So if I would add all those angles together, it is 900 degrees. Right? Yeah? Okay, now, part B. That is a 4-sided figure. Okay, so let's figure out how many degrees are in the inside of that 4-sided figure. Some of you guys can probably know already. But we would take 4 minus 2 times 180. Or 2 times 180, which is 360. Every 4-sided figure has 360 degrees on the inside, right? Okay, now they want me to find what every angle is. So they want to know what A is, B is, C is, D is. We already know 2 of them. B and C are both 90. Okay, we know that from the box. Okay, so how do I figure out the other 2? Right? A is 3 times as much as X is. Yeah. Okay.
So 3 times 360.
No. All 4 of those added together, all 4 of those angles added together have to be what?
Or divided by 3.
All 4 of those angles added together have to be what? 360. 360 right here. Okay? All 4 of the angles. 3x plus another x plus 90 plus 90. Those have to be added up to make 360. All 4 of the angles added together make 360. Okay? Now, we could have done that a little shorter because if I have 2 90-degree angles, this takes out 180 degrees, so 3x and x have to be the other 180, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So, but we'll just do this. 90 and 90 makes 180. Subtract the 180. 3x and x makes 4x equals 180. Yeah? Okay, just like we just said, if this is 180 degrees, then this is going to be 180 degrees. Right? Okay. If 4x is 180, what's x? MJ's got us, maybe. X is 45. Okay, so that will tell me what angle D is. D is 45 because it's just x. And then if I take 3 times 45, that will give me angle A. 135. Okay, now, if this were a test question, I would definitely for sure 100% make sure that that was right by adding those back up again, right? So after I get the answers 135, 90, 91, or 45, add those back up again and make sure it is 360. Okay? So check your answer. But this is what we needed for A, B, C, D. There is what we have. Okay? All right? Good? Yes, yes? All right. Example 2. Circle the word regular if you can see it. Mine's kind of overlapped here. Regular. A regular polygon. Let's talk about what it means to be regular. If I say a regular polygon, what does that mean?
Not irregular.
Not irregular, right? But what does regular mean?
It's normal.
Kind of.
It's like
It's not.
Regular versus irregular. All the sides are the same, and so I'll put all sides equal, and all angles are equal. All sides are equal, all angles are equal. Okay? So we are doing, it says the poles for a tent form the vertices of a regular hexagon. Hexagon is, how big's a hexagon? 6. Well, yeah, but you're right close to this video, so you need to be quiet.
Could you be any louder up there?
You drove here like. You didn't say no.
Okay, there's my hexagon. And because he's regular, I know that all the sides are the same and all of the angles are the same.
Yep.
I need to figure out what one of those angles individually is. Okay? So there's something that I have to do first.
Take 4 times 180 and then divide it by 6.
Right. So n minus 2 times 180. And since this is 6, it would be 4 times 180, which we already did on that sticky note. 4 times 180 was like 720, something like that.
Yeah.
So that means there is, stop with the noises. That means there's 720 degrees on the inside.
Divide it by 6.
Now, since all of them are exactly the same, I just divide that by 6.
90. I can't see.
720 divided by 6, what's that?
72 is 9.
120. So each one of these angles is 120. 120, 120, 120, 120, 120. And you get the idea, right? All of them are 120s. So what is the measure of the angle formed at the corner of the tent? 120 degrees, every one of them is. Okay? Now that only works because they are all the same, that I can divide by 6, right? If they're not all the same, I can't just divide by 6. They would have to tell me what every one of them is, like they did in the last example, right? This guy up here was irregular, and because he's irregular, they have to tell me what each side is, or what each angle is, right? They did. They said that this was x, this was 3x, and then I could find it, right? But if they are all the same, you can just divide. Okay? Good, good? Okay, now, they are going to flip it around on you just a little bit, and instead of telling you how many sides there are, they're going to say you have like this figure, whatever, and each one of these angles is 135 degrees. Okay? 135, 135, 135, but we don't know how many sides there are. Okay? So this says, let me get it unfuzzy here.
It's been fuzzy literally.
Well, that's because I keep putting my hand on there.
Wire thing.
All right.
You were concerned about
Okay.
this and that one.
It says the measure of an angle. Okay. The measure of an angle of an interior angle of a regular polygon is 135. So all of them are going to be 135s, except I don't know how many sides there are. Find the number of sides. Okay. So we kind of have to work backwards just a little bit. If you think about the last problem, okay, the 6-sided figure, right? What did we do first when we had that 6-sided figure? Go sit.
You still just stick with
I
it.
don't care what he's doing. Go sit down. I want to get through this. Okay, what did we do first with that 6-sided figure?
You divided it into triangles.
Right, so we did the whole n minus 2 times 180. Okay, and when we did that on the last process, we got 720. Okay, so how did we figure out what each angle was? After we got the 720,
You divided it by how many sides?
you divided by how many sides there were, so what are you going to divide by? 6 we did on the last one, but in this case, we don't know what.
Angles.
What are we going to call it? No?
Number of angles. You scratching the back of your arm a lot? Yeah, there's like a lot of scratch.
N minus 2 times 180. We got, when we did this before, we got 720. And we divided by 6, right? But what did that 6 represent? What variable is 6? The number of sides, which we are calling n. So we're dividing by n, right? I don't want to put 6 up there because I don't know that there's 6 sides, right? We're dividing by n. Okay, we have to use the same variable, so we're dividing by n. Now, that gave us, in the last problem, that gave us 120, except this one, they're saying that's going to be equal to what? What did they say? What did they say it's going to be equal to?
720.
Look at the problem. Look at the problem. 135, right?
Yeah.
They're saying instead of it being 120, it is actually 135, and now we have to rearrange this guy to solve for n, right? These numbers here, the 720, the 6, and the 120 were just what we got before, right? Okay? So now we want to do the same process but in reverse to get the 135, okay? Yeah? I want to solve for n. How do I solve for n? Get it by itself. What are you going to move? No.
Move n over.
Move n over. Let's multiply by n. Let's get him to the other side. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Equals. So 135n will be over here. if I take this times 180, let's distribute that 180 through. Okay? 180 times n is 180n. What's negative 2 times 180? Negative 360. Okay? And then we just solve it like normal. So let's subtract 180.
Wait, is it 135 n or 135?
Well, they're both 135n. It's the same thing. It's 135. Okay. Negative 360 is equal to what's 135 minus 180? Close. Negative 45. Okay? And then divide by negative 45. So our n will be a positive number. And it is like something like 8. Okay, so what did we just find? The number of sides. An 8-sided figure, each one of the angles will be 135 if it's regular, right? Only if it's regular. It's an octagon, you're right. Okay? So, when they give you the angle to start with, you kind of have to work backwards. They will probably do that on your homework assignment. It will be like this same formula. N minus 2 times 180 over n. Set it equal to whatever the angle they give you. Yeah? And you work backwards. Okay? Now,
If it's a regular one, then you have to look it up.
if it's a regular one, you can just look it up.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably. Could be. Yeah.
But we
All
don't
right.
cheat around these parts.
We don't cheat around these parts.
I
Okay,
did.
so this guy is, wait a second. Let's stop there. Okay, right here. These guys were interior. Okay? Everything that we have done thus far has been interior angles. Interior means
Inside.
inside. We're talking about the inside angles. Now, from here forward, we're going to talk about exterior angles, and this is the easier part. Okay? Exterior angles are the easier ones. Okay? And I'll show you how this works. Okay? So, from there and beyond, it's going to be exterior angles. Exterior are on the outside. They have drawn you pictures of some exterior angles for these different shapes. The first one is a triangle. The second one, what's this shape? That's a pentagon. So they've done exterior angles to a pentagon. And they've done exterior angles to, what's this shape?
Square.
That's a, not a square,
Before done.
quadrilateral. Yep. A square is a special type of quadrilateral. Okay. So when they draw the exterior angles, it kind of looks like a fan. It like goes around in a circle.
Yeah.
A fan going around in a circle. Okay, so let's do this. Hush. All right, let's do this. What will this bottom angle be of that triangle? 40, right? Because they have to add up to 180 because they're on the straight line right here. Okay. If this is 120, what will this guy be? 60, and this guy is 80. Do those add up to be 180 like they're supposed to? Yes. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. If we start with this 50, what will this angle be? 130. This is 111. Oh man, 180 minus 111 is 69. 180 minus 65 gives you this angle. What's that? 115. Okay. 180 minus 98. 82. 82? Yeah? And then 36. 180 minus 36 will give me this angle, and that is 144. Yeah, 144? If you add up all of those angles, what should that add up to be? This is a pentagon.
540.
540. Those should add up to be 540, yeah? Okay? Now this one over here. If this guy's 40 degrees, this guy is 140. Okay, 105. What will that one be?
75.
75. Okay, 110,
70.
70, and 105, 75 again. If you add all those up, those should be 360s, right? If you add all those up, that should be 360, okay? That's the way that it works with the interior angle. That's the n minus 2 times 180, yeah? But when we're looking at the exterior angles, right? We're looking at the exterior angles. Like this guy is, I'm going to do this in blue. 140, 120, and 100 are all exterior angles. What do they add up to be? 360, okay? These exterior angles, 50, 111, 65, 98, 36. What do they add up to be? 360, 105, 40, 105, and 110. They add up to be 360. So this is why exterior ones, the ones on the outside, are easier to do because it doesn't matter how many sides you have. All of them are going to add up to be 360 every time, yeah? Every time. They all add up to be 360, okay? So the inside ones are the only ones that are really hard. The exterior ones are the easy ones. Okay, so in A, find the value of x in the diagram. This guy has a pentagon. Is it a pentagon? Yeah, pentagon. But we don't really care because it doesn't matter. It does not matter how many sides we have. They all add up to be 360. So these angles right here all add up to be 360. Okay? Can we simplify this and make this easier rather than having to write them all out?
Add them all.
Yeah, let's add them all. Okay, so let's add up all the x's. So 2x, 3x, 6x, 2x, 5x. Let's add those all up. So 2x and 3x makes 5.
Yeah.
Plus 6, 11. Plus 2, 13 plus 5, 18x. Okay? All right, so I don't have to write them all out. Negative 5 plus 10 minus 5. 0, right? It cancels out. So we can put plus 0, or we don't really have to have that 0 there. So rather than writing them all out, I just went ahead and combined them all in my head. Okay? So if I divide by 18, what is it?
20. Do it in your head.
20. Right? 36 divided by 18 is 2. Right? 20. Now, they are just having you solve for x in the diagram. On your homework assignment, they're going to have you plug them back in. So let's go ahead and do that for just practice. Okay? Let's start with 5x. These are easy. 5x. Plug it back in. 100. 2 times 20 minus 5. 35. 3 times 20 plus 10. 70. 6 times 20 minus 5. 115. And 2 times 20. 40. So if they ask for each one, you're going to plug this back in. Is this regular or irregular?
Irregular.
Obviously irregular. They're all different, right? Okay? Now, find the measure of each exterior. This is what I want you to make sure you do. On your homework assignment, they will go from interior to exterior. There's different rules for each one. So we're doing just the outside ones of a regular nonagon. What does nonagon mean?
No sides.
Not no sides. No sides. A nine-sided figure. Okay? So I've got a nine-sided figure, and I want to know, here's my nine-sided figure if I go all the way around. I want to know what each one of these guys are. Okay? Are they all the same?
Yeah, I can't see the thing.
Well, whatever. He's going to dot, 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 dot. He's going to go all the way around, whatever. Are all those angles going to be the same? How do you know? Because it says regular. So all of those are going to be the same. What do all of the outside ones add up to be? 360. Okay? So each one of these angles I have going on right here, and there are 9 of them, and I want to figure out what each one is. 40. X equals 40. So each one of those exterior ones is 40 degrees. Okay? On your homework assignment, make sure that in the instructions you underline or circle or star or do something, whether you're doing exterior versus interior, because there's a different formula that you use, right?
Yeah.
Exterior is just 360 every time. Interior is the n minus 2. Okay? All right, there we go. That's all I have. Yes, there is homework. Man.
Interesting.